Namaste, namaste. Start. Om Shuklambaradaram Vishnum Shashivaranam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvavighnopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurus Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Start. So in the previous session we were looking at Linga Purana. A few stories we had started. So mainly Linga Purana talks about Lord Shiva and his devotees and the different forms of Lord Shiva, worship of Shivalinga and so on. So in the last session, if you remember, we had seen how Shiva went to Darukavana, that is today's famous the Naganatha Jyotirlinga, and how the Lord tries to test his devotees. So for this, Brahma continues and Brahma starts telling a story wherein Brahma narrates that now those who are attending today, like if you have missed out a few of the previous sessions last week, ensure that you listen to the audios so that you can establish a link. It should not be that what we are learning today, what we are listening, it should not seem to be that you don't understand anything. So ensure that those who have missed out, you please listen to the previous sessions. So Lord Brahma says that there was a Brahmin called Sudarshana, and he was very kind-hearted, he was very good. Whoever came to his house, he believed that serving his guests, he believed in the philosophy of Athithi Devo Bhava. So whoever came to his house, he as well as his wife, he used to tell his wife also that whoever comes to our house, you should never leave them empty-handed. Whatever we have, we must offer them, be it food or anything, any bhiksha, water, whatever it is, we must always offer our guests. So that is, we must always show hospitality. And once it so happened that Dharmaraja, the god of death, he wanted to test Sudarshana, just as problems come in all of our lives. So that is a testing period for all of us, how we try to come, how we put in efforts to come out of that tough situation. Similarly, here also Dharmaraja, the god of death, decides to test this Brahmin Sudarshana. And what he did is that he comes to the house of Sudarshana disguised as a Brahmin. And at that time Sudarshana was not there. And Sudarshana's wife was present there. So Dharmaraja, he says that I don't want anything in donation, but I want I want your wife. So I want Sudarshana's wife. I want her to be become mine, that is to be my wife. I don't want any other donation. And Sudarshana's wife, what she said is that now she had remembered the words of her husband saying that no one, any guest who comes to her house, no one should go out empty-handed. So she starts believing, and then she offers herself. She said, okay, I will come along with you, and she is ready to become his wife. And Sudarshana, he returns back to his house and he does not find her, and she calls out, and at that time he hears a voice, and it is said that a voice was heard wherein he says that some guest has come and he has taken your wife away, and your wife is now living with him, with saying that because as you said, as you had told your wife that whoever guest comes in, you must not leave them empty handed. So the guest is living with your wife for some time now, and your wife also readily she has given herself to him. Sudarshana does not react at all. He remains undisturbed. He says okay, and he requests the guest that you carry on. That is, you want to live with my wife for some time, you live till you are satisfied. Now Dharmaraja hears this. Now if there was some other person, will we do that? Now coming back to the main point, how far this is right? You might find this is wrong. Can we offer one's own wife or one's own husband to some time? Which wife or which man and woman will say that okay, you live with my wife or husband for some time, and later once you feel satisfied and once you're done, you feel that no, I cannot live with this person anymore, then you come back to me, I will accept you. We will never do this, right? And even logically and practically also this is wrong. Then why such a story is given in the Purana? Why Sudarshana does not react at all? Why his wife also readily went with the stranger? Though he was Dharmaraja, she did not know that. Readily she went with the stranger. So how far this is right? This was like a test to Sudarshana to show his devotion and to test whether really he was that much hospitable. He used to talk so much, right? Always guests should be served, Athithi Devo Bhava and so on. So in reality also, how far did he do that? This was like a testing to him. Dharmaraja actually, he did not do anything with Sudarshana's wife, but it was just like a test that took place, and Dharmaraja became very pleased and he appeared before Sudarshana. He blessed him saying that I was just trying to test you, and therefore it is now listening to all this. If you remember in the last session, we had discussed the story of the sages, wherein when Lord Shiva, their own wives got attracted to Lord Shiva, at that time till a few moments back, they were worshipping Lord Shiva. But when they heard that their wives were being attracted, their wives got attracted with to Lord Shiva, and then Lord Shiva disappeared from there and so on, they started blaming Lord Shiva, saying that he came there and that's how our wives got murdered. So through this story, Brahma, what he tries to tell all the sages and ultimately to all of us is that sometimes trying times or testing periods do come in all of our lives. No one here can say that my life is always full of happiness, there are no problems at all, no sorrow at all that I have ever faced or I will ever face. I've never faced past, present, future, I'm always happy. No one can say that, right? So these problems and the different difficulties that come in our life are just to test how we can overcome all that, like this Brahman Sudarshana. So through all the stories, though logically we might feel, now in the Puranic stories, everything might not have a proper logic, or logically, practically we might feel that it is so wrong, or someone comes and says, I want to live with your wife for some time, and he readily gives away, he readily agrees. So is this, how far this is correct? It is actually wrong. Morally it is very much wrong, this must not be done. But such things happen to test. So through these stories, through the Puranic stories, what is a lesson for all of us is that when life offers us problems, it's not that we must always blame. We blame, right? We blame God, we blame people around, we blame things around, saying that all the world's problems are on me only. The entire world is happy except for me. When we look at others, we feel that the other person is happy, but only I am sorrowful, right? So this mentality should go away. Problems, when they come in someone's lives, it is just to test how you overcome over that. If everything is just happening good, life will not have any value at all. Through these stories, this is what Brahma here, he tries to explain through the sages, and also to this through the story of the Brahmins, he tries to explain through the sages, right? There are going to be testing periods, but we must be very, very firm. Like the sages, they were worshipping Lord Shiva, but the moment their wives got distracted and attracted towards Shiva, they started keeping him names, right? Whereas Sudarshana here, he was very, very apt. He did not deviate himself. Whoever the guest is, he was very you can say firm on his principle that he wanted to serve his guests. He believed in the philosophy of Atiti Devo Bhava. Let the person ask anything, I will give. So he was very, very firm. So through this incident, what we get to know is that let anything happen. How far from outside it might seem to be very bad, or maybe how can I do this, we might feel, but we must be very, very firm in whatever we do. So this is a life lesson for all of us. Further, you have a story of a sage called Shweta. Lord Brahma, he continues. He says that there was a sage called Shweta, and he was again a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He lived in a cave and he was doing severe penance, and he was continuously chanting the names of Lord Shiva. And it is said that when it was his time to death, that is, his time was arriving to die, at that time it is said that again the sage Shweta, he started praying to Lord Shiva, because all his life he was worshipping Lord Shiva. So during the last days of his life also, automatically the names of Lord Shiva were came to his tongue. So that is the reason he felt that, and during the last days of his life, a random thought came to his mind that I am such a great devotee of Lord Shiva, so let me challenge even this god of death Kala, saying that I am a devotee of Lord Shiva and therefore I can be beyond the reach of death, right? But it is said that the Kala is death. He made fun of the sage and said that you be a great devotee or you be a thief, no one can escape death. So sage Shweta said that no, I have we can say so much unshakable faith that we say, that is, no one can no one can shake me, and no one can do anything to me until and unless I am a devotee of Lord Shiva. So much devotion and faith I have on Lord Shiva that nothing can happen to me. And it is said that in the Shivalinga that you see nearby, Lord Shiva is very much present, therefore nothing can happen to me, do anything that you want. Suddenly it is said that death also did not give up. He tried his noose around the neck of of the sage Shweta, and he says that your Shivalinga is also not going to do anything now. I am going to take you along with me. You see, the Shivalinga is not even moving. It is just living there as a marble stone. Shiva, no one is there. And it is said that at that time Lord Shiva appears on that scene along with Goddess Amba, Parvati, Shiva, Shiva along with Parvati, Ganesha and Nandi, all four of them come there, and it is said that god of that Kala also got afraid and he fainted itself there and he fell down. Now, through this incident, the sages, now Brahma is telling all these stories to the sages. All of them were surprised. They say that how come this happened? Like it is said, right? No one can escape death. Then how come such things happen? But here it is just like in the Narsimha Avatara, we have Narsimha who came there. When Prahlada says that Lord is there even in this pillar, and Hiranyakashipu was trying to test the devotion of Prahlada, at that time Narsimha also came there to prove that when you have faith and devotion, the Lord himself will come there. Same incident happens here also with Shiva. When sage Shweta had so much of devotion and faith on Lord Shiva, he challenges Kala also that my Shivalinga, my Lord Shiva will come here in this form of the Shivalinga he resides. He will come to save me from your noose, and Lord Shiva really came there. So this doesn't mean that sages, just because you are a great devotee of Lord Shiva, you can escape death and all. Death is going to be there for everyone, but the amount of devotion and faith the sage had on Lord Shiva, that Lord Shiva, at this moment maybe I will not die. I want to show you the true devotion that I have on Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva truly comes to save his devotees who have total faith and devotion on him. And the same thing happened here. Kala also disappeared from that place, and sage Shweta, he developed more devotion and bhakti towards Lord Shiva. So now the sages next they question Brahma, saying that how we can also develop such a devotion towards Lord Shiva. And Lord Brahma told that only way is you have to just keep practicing. It's not going to happen overnight or so. You have to put in efforts every day, and slowly you will develop total devotion and surrender. If you develop, Lord Shiva will surely be pleased with all of you. And now all the sages, they return to the Daruka forest and they do severe penance to Lord Shiva. And for one whole year they started doing severe tapasya, and finally Lord Shiva appears with bhasma all over his body. And it is said that he came like a beggar with a begging bowl in his hand. That is basically as a mendicant he came there. But this time the sages knew that this is Lord Shiva only. So though the form in which Lord Shiva appeared in front of the sages did not seem to be like Lord Shiva with a Trishula in his hand and so on, it was with bhasma all over his body, with a begging bowl in his hand and so on. But still the sages did not fail to recognize Lord Shiva this time, and they asked for his forgiveness, saying that sorry, we earlier our wives, they got attracted towards you, we thought that it was your mistake, we kept evil names for you on you and so on, but now we have realized our mistake and we ask for your forgiveness. Lord Shiva, he became pleased with them and showed them his form of Trayambaka. All of us, we chant the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, right? Anyone knows that? Mrityunjaya mantra? Trayambakam yajamahe. Correct. Trayambakam yajamahe. That is a mantra. Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiyamamritaad. So this is the form of Trayambaka. So Lord Shiva, he reveals his form of Trayambaka to all the sages, and they continue singing the praises of Lord Shiva, and their devotion starts developing. And it is said that here now next you have the topic of the so-called sadhus that we have. Now you see sages, like for example, we go to, you have seen Ramana Bhagavan, right? Ramana Maharshi. Everyone is aware of Ramana Maharshi?
Yes, Lakshmi.
Yes.
Anyone who has not heard about Ramana Maharshi? Ramana Bhagavan? Everyone is...
I have not heard.
You have not heard. Okay. I'll show you a picture maybe. I'll show you a picture of Ramana Maharshi, those who don't know. This is Ramana Bhagavan. Now, why I am showing you this, I'll tell you this. This is Ramana Maharshi. Yasminji, you can maybe Google more and find out about Ramana Bhagavan. You must visit at least once, all of you must visit the Ramana Ashrama in Tiruvannamalai, Tamil Nadu. Very, very auspicious place, and you just go there, you can feel the positive vibes. So, basically now Ramana Bhagavan, if you look, he just wears a cloth around his body just to cover his lower part of the body. That's it. And now like this we see most of the sadhus, if you see, there are a few saints, they wear those orange robes and they cover themselves. But especially if you go to north side, the Kumbh Mela times and so on, we find so many sadhus, right? They are clad in just maybe just a kaupina vastram. Kaupina vastram is just a small cloth just to cover their lower part of the body. That's it. So why they wear such clothes, right? Like all of us, we don't do that. We cover our body from head to toe. And why this concept is there, or why even Lord Shiva also does this? Why cannot he be pleasing? He can also deck in good clothes, right? Like Lord Vishnu does, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma does. So many gods do. Indra does proper, wear a proper dhoti with an angavastram and all that. But why Lord Shiva does this? So here Lord Shiva says that for these sages who are there, or even Ramana Maharshi for that matter, people keep names, right? By this person, or Ramana Maharshi, why I gave you the same explanation is Ramana Maharshi, he had not taken up sannyasa, and without taking up sannyasa also, today we regard him as a great guru. His works, if you read, everything is like, even a person who has not taken up sannyasa will not speak like this Ramana Maharshi, Ramana Bhagavan. So even without taking up sannyasa, he has shown those qualities of a real, you can say, a yogi, as we call, one who has realized. In people like Umaji and so on, if you have done if you have taught, if you have read the teachings of Ramana Maharshi, you will know that. So the point that I'm trying to say is, from physically how you look or how someone looks from outside cannot ever decide how you are, right? Or maybe so-called sadhus and all, if you just look at them, you might, from outside you might look like a beggar, but the yogic qualities that they have in them is very, very important, and we cannot realize them just by looking at them from outside. We cannot make out how great the person is. So here in the Linga Purana, Shiva tells that just by my looks, now in the why he gives this reference to the sages who had teased him earlier was all the wives of Lord Shiva, they had got attracted, or rather they were infatuated by the looks of Lord Shiva, because he had just worn a garment around his lower body. So just by looking at the body of Lord Shiva, by the physical appearance, they had got attracted. Today also when we say, by physical appearances, people or human beings, we get attracted, right? Someone is so good looking, I get attracted towards him. He has a gym body, so I'm attracted towards. She looks beautiful, so I'm attracted, right? So all this, when we say, of course, now this is all, I'm not talking something very philosophical, or Lord Shiva also does not decline this fact. This is normal, this is how human beings exist. We have to look at the physical looks of a person, right? But just because someone does not look very good from outside doesn't mean that the person is not good. So here Lord Shiva says that, and a very, very important aspect, he says that we look at the certain organs of the body. Like, to specify, we have the genital organs of the body, be it the male genital organ or the female genital organ, the sex organs, whatever you call them. We look at them till date with a very, very low mentality. Or Lord Shiva himself reveals this in the part, I'll tell you if you want, 1.2.10. That is in the first Prathama Sarga of the Linga Purana, you have this reference, wherein Lord Shiva himself says that the female sex organ or the female reproductive system that we have is regarded as the form of goddess Parvati, and the male organ that we have is my own form, that is of Lord Shiva. So today when people look upon these parts, as you can say, we look upon them as a very low mentality, or we tease people. So many in everyday time, it can be youngsters, old people, anyone. We tease people, or maybe we don't discuss these topics openly with our own children. Also, we are very, very hesitant when we talk about. Today, of course, we have a lot of things that happen with sex education, this and that, but at least a few years back it was not so. And even today also, if you see, we don't discuss these topics openly. Now I'm not talking something like some socially or social purpose, nothing of that sort. But then Lord Shiva himself, he says that when people, we don't know many things, that is the reason today in the society we have so many problems taking place, right? At least 10% of the problems, because people are not aware of many things. You have so many rape cases happening, this and that, all that is happening. Now it can happen, even though you know everything, it can happen, I'm not saying so, but still, because there is no proper knowledge, we have so many things that are happening. We tease people, or we ourselves. Now what we can do out of all this is, all the 23 people here, how far all of us, we have proper thoughts about all this, or we know about all the organs of our body. We don't discuss these topics openly. How far we tell our own children about this? We don't know. My parents never told to me, I will also not do that. This is not a reason. Maybe their parents didn't tell them, so they have not told you. So that is the reason you see, even now it can be with youngsters or with old people also. We don't discuss some topics, right? Only even in our, you see the sign. Now why I am telling you all this, you will get to know that later. It has been stressed upon in the Linga Purana. All the topics we must look at equally. It is not that only a few topics it is very comfortable to discuss, so I will discuss that openly. It is not so. What has been mentioned in the Puranas, same thing Lord Shiva discusses openly, and I am also telling you the same thing. So then where we can change a bit is that, or when people today, even youngsters also, you see, they will question. That is the reason because is we tell them only things which we are comfortable, right? You don't discuss a few things openly, and then they get answers. Today of course technology is there. We get answers from somewhere from outside, maybe through the friend circle or maybe through social media and so on. And from that minute onwards, the child develops in his mind this thought that my parents, they just tell me a few things which they feel is right, or which they feel they should tell me. Many things they have hidden, and from that minute onwards the child also does not tell us many things. This is 10% which we as elders or which we as parents have to blame ourselves, or the middle generation. No, my parents never told me, I will also not tell. You can be the change, right? Maybe your parents, their parents didn't tell them. Today's times are different. So at times change, we must always be very, very open. When we expect the young generation, when we keep names on them saying that they are questioning everything, they want answers for everything, they are right in their approach. You must give them answers. If you don't give them answers, no, nobody answered me, so I will also not answer. Nobody answered you, right? And when you came to know certain things, you were shocked, or maybe rather than shocked, it was very difficult for you to accept that. So why do you want your children also to experience the same thing? Why not discuss it openly? Yes, I'll come back to you. So then it can, so Lord Shiva himself here, he says that when the right way of education is being done, or when you tell people right thing, when you discuss everything openly, things will always be easy. So that is the reason here Lord Shiva says that in the Saundarya Lahari also you have the same concept that is being talked about. When we talk about the process of birth today, also when many people look upon that, or one person has got so many children are being born, then today we have concepts coming of family planning, this and that. All this has been told years back in the Puranas. Every birth that takes place, it's not just for enjoyment and so on. Every birth is regarded to be an experience of death. All the mothers here, you know, you pass through death and come out, right? So therefore, the organs that are there, that is the reason why we must respect even this process of reproduction also. And Lord Shiva says that this is a form of myself, and the females are a form of goddess Parvati alone. We must respect the parents equally, and this entire process that is there, we must not look upon this process as low at all. The reason being, it's not that now all of us, we are born with all the organs that are there, right? From the head till the toe, we have our reproductive system, respiratory system, everything is there. But still there are so many people who suffer or who don't have children. They have just one reason, that you have some issues, right? Everyone has got the same organs, everyone has got the same processes. Still not everyone is blessed with children. Some people, they don't want, that is their own personal choice. But there are so many problems. Not only with I'm talking about the reproductive system, that is because it has been mentioned in the Linga Purana. Here the topic is that. There are so many other systems, the respiratory system, this, that. But still, there are so many people, we all suffer from problems, right? Some people have respiration issues. Everyone is blessed with the same respiratory system. But still some functions are not functioning. Today we have small babies also who are born with some or the other disorder, right? So why all this is being told is that though all the human beings are born with all the parts and all the systems, there are still a few people who are not blessed with the best, and that's the reason they have problems. So when Shiva, what he tries to say here is that when you are blessed with the best, you must make use of that, and at the same time you must look at everything with an open mindset and regard everything as important. It's not that some parts of the body are low or some parts of the body are high, or maybe some processes we discuss it openly, some processes we look upon that with a very low mentality. All this is very, very wrong. Everything is a form of the Lord alone. Right knowledge, right education must always be there. Yes, Sanjeev ji, you want to say something?
Madam, our electric side,
Which part of the body? Sorry. Ah. Ah.
left hand side of the body, the Mahayu. If you sleep on the right side of the body, if you sleep on the right,
Ah.
sleep on the right to the right,
Hmm.
and sleep this way. Now you sleep this way. Now sleep on the right. Sleep on the right.
Hmm.
Sleep
Okay. So Sanjay ji, I could not hear you very clearly, but little I could hear what you said. Maybe you can just message me also later what you meant. But what you say also to some extent what I heard, yes, that is also correct. There are different parts of the body which are not discussed that openly, and I think few like you shared your thoughts, the left part and the right part, yeah, that can also be there. Maybe to get more clarity, you can just message me later, so I'll know what you're saying. Yeah.
sleeping also should not sleep on stomach.
Huh.
They should not sleep on stomach. They should not sleep on the back. They should
Okay.
sleep right side or the left side of the body. They say that when you sleep on the left side of the body, it's called a Mahayu.
Huh.
When you sleep on the right side of the body, it's
Correct, correct. Now, all this reference that you are saying, it is all mentioned in the Kundalini Chakra, Kundalini Yoga. Those people do. That is also mentioned in that. Also, little we have the studies that have been mentioned. Okay. So coming back now, so the point that here, what I'm trying to say, and what Shiva here says is that he tells that the sages, when we say, or when the sages they fought against Shiva, or they kept names on Shiva, saying that our wives got attracted towards you. Lord Shiva says that attraction, that is a physical part, as that's I told you, a gym body man or a woman with beautiful looks, you just look at her, you feel attracted. That is human mentality. That is going to happen, but obvious. But the looks or your thought must not be limited there alone. That is not at all the purpose. A few parts of the body are not there. Just like Shankaracharya says in this Bhajagovindam also, Mamsaha. Mamsaha he says that the parts of the body that we get attracted, be it you can be someone having great biceps or so, someone having a very like a bodybuilder kind of a thing with good muscles and so on. Ultimately what it is just pieces of flesh, right? Mamsa. But we get attracted towards that. You are going to get attracted. Maybe you look at someone with good biceps and so on, maybe you like that person. Yeah, you can that is but obvious. But then Lord Shiva, what he tries to say here is that, or Shankaracharya also says that they are not just pieces of flesh, right? When the person dies, nobody, we are just going to burn the person. We are not going to say, oh, he has got so many muscles, or you cannot remove the muscles and maybe keep with you, right? So the point that they tell is that whenever we look at certain parts of the body, or the whole body in general, always have a clear outlook and regard every part of the body as important. He says that even the genital organs also, the male genital organ is an expression of myself, that is Lord Shiva, and the female organs are Goddess Parvati. So all the parts of the body must be equally worshipped. And he said that you must never make fun of someone, right? So that is the reason when a few people in today's society also, if a woman cannot give birth, we have few people coming and teasing, right? Or maybe keeping names, and we call the woman as barren, right? Or even for the males also, today we have even the males being called upon names, that you are married such and so man, so therefore child is not being born. Or in olden times, men used to keep on marrying many women if children were not being born. So here again Lord Shiva is against all this. Today we feel that all these concepts have come in today of family planning, understanding this, that, and we have concepts like maybe what you call it as surrogacy and IVF, all this coming in, right? All this has already been there. IVF, those who know IVF, in vitro, that we have in vitro fertilization, or the concept of test tube babies that has come in. We feel everything is just modern science. Test tube baby, does anyone know the first test tube babies who came in? I think I told you all in some session. Kauravas.
Yes.
Kauravas. Did Gandhari physically, can you even think, can someone give birth to the 100 Kauravas? Logically, if you think, it takes 9 months. 9 months, entire period together. Right from the gestation time, it takes about 12 months for a birth to take place. She was also a human being. 100 years means, can she give birth for 100 years? Woman, if you see, from when can she give birth? When her puberty starts in, maybe roughly at the age of 10 to 12 till about 50 to 55, 52 maximum, right? So hardly about 40 years. How can 100 babies be born? So 1 year if you consider for one child also. So there we have the story wherein, I think in one of the previous sessions we had discussed, wherein one part, Kunti, she gave birth to Yudhishthira, it seems. Yudhishthira was born first. There itself Gandhari, she was feeling bad that my son has not been born yet. Still, Yudhishthira is born. Has correct. Kunti has given birth before itself. So then at that time, in that sorrow, it seems that she beats her stomach, and the child, which was not yet born in the 7th or 8th month only, the fetus, it falls down. And now it is just a piece of flesh, it is not developed properly. And now once the fetus falls down, now she is wailing, saying that I've lost my child and so on. At that time, Vyasa comes there, he cuts the part into 100 equal parts, and he keeps in a coconut shell, and he also puts in life. Same concept of test tube babies that we have now today. But we feel proud today when modern science has developed. We don't look back at our texts. And then we claim that 100 babies who can give birth to 100 children, all this is just false. We don't know the science and the internal stories that are there. So therefore, just by looking at something from outside and keeping names to people should never be done. If a couple cannot give birth, or there are some issues that are being facing, we must never keep them names. Today we have all this understanding that has come in. People don't keep names and so on, right? Still, there are in rural places, or even amongst us also, we see like we keep people names and so on, but that should never be done. Shiva stresses upon this. He tells the sages also that never go by the physical looks of a person at all. And further, he talks about the importance of, and he says that all these sadhus also. Now coming back to the topic of sadhus, wherein why do we find sadhus in such a form wherein they wear clothes, just to cover their part, the lower part of the body, or just a few parts. Maybe they'll just have a blanket just to cover them from the cold season and so on. Reason being is the physical appearance for them does not matter, because through mind their thoughts are occupied in me. They are all my great devotees. That is the reason one name of the goddess was Aparna. So for this there are two meanings for goddess Parvati. When she was doing penance to Lord Shiva, she did not consume even one leaf, they say. This she did not know about hunger. She could not feel hunger also. Some references say that that cold season in the Himalayas, when she was doing, the clothes also on her body started falling. Aparna, not even a single piece of leaf was there, even in those extreme climatic conditions. So through all this, what is said is that they were not aware of their physical being at all, what they were eating and so on. So there was no, you can say, they did not know physically where they were. Mentally they were so absorbed in tapasya, in meditation. So these sadhus also that we see around, before keeping names to anyone, before going by so the gist of this entire topic is Lord Shiva stresses upon that before going on the physical appearance of anyone, we must regard their mental strength. That is, maybe they might be spiritual, or mentally we don't know what they are going through, right? Can be human beings, sages, or anyone. So we must never keep names looking by the physical appearance of someone. That is, don't judge a book by its cover. So Lord Shiva very elaborately he explains this. Okay. Further he talks about, now till here, as everyone understood, is there any doubt or confusion?
No, understood.
No? Clear. Okay. Further, Lord Shiva talks about the importance of ash or vibhuti that we apply till date. So what is the importance of that? So he says that ash is extremely pure because it is very sacred, it is left after burning something, and that is why he says that I smear it all over the body. And one who applies vibhuti and ash all over his body, or at least in his head also, all sins are destroyed. And further, on various topics, Lord Shiva starts speaking, and a few stories start. Now there was a king, his name was Kshupa, Kshoopa, Kshupa. His friend was sage Dadichi, and once it is said that they got over an argument. They started arguing on something, and Kshupa, the king, said that Kshatriyas of the highest, Kshatriya belongs to the highest caste. Sage Dadichi said that Brahmins are high, then Kshatriya. So like this they started arguing on this topic. And it is said that the verbal abuse started getting physical, and they started hitting each other. Dadichi, it seems that he punched Kshupa on his head. And Kshupa, the king, he retaliated by hitting him with his weapon. And it is said that Dadichi, he fell down so badly, the sage, that he prayed to his Guru Shukracharya. Dadichi, he prayed to his Guru Shukracharya, and Shukracharya, he rushed to the spot. He knew that his disciple was in danger, but Dadichi, before Shukracharya arrived, it is said that Dadichi had already died. Now Shukracharya, he knew the Mrita Sanjeevani Vidya, that is, he knew to bring back dead people. So he brought back Dadichi alive, and he said that Dadichi, once he became alive, he told Dadichi that you now start praying to Lord Shiva. And he also taught Dadichi the proper methods of worshipping Lord Shiva. Dadichi started doing tapasya, and ultimately Lord Shiva appeared in front of him, blessed him, and said that the bones that are there. Now this king Kshupa, he had attacked Dadichi with a weapon called Vajra, the same Vajrayudham that Indra has. And later Lord Shiva, he blesses, he gives this boon to Dadichi that the bones that you have, that will become as hard as Indra's Vajrayudham. Because you were attacked by a Vajra and you killed, later you did a lot of tapasya, you have pleased me. So therefore I give you this blessing that the bones that you have in your body will be as strong as Indra's thunderbolt, that is Indra's Vajrayudham. And Dadichi, then he went to fight Kshupa and he kicked Kshupa, it seems. He kicked this king Kshupa on his chest, and again Kshupa attacked him with his Vajrayudham, but this time Dadichi could not be attacked at all. And Kshupa, it seems that he was surprised. He said, last time I hit this sage and he fell down, but this time nothing is happening to him. So what is this? And further he goes and he tries to please Lord Vishnu now. And he does a lot of tapasya on Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu appears before this king Kshupa, and this Kshupa tells Vishnu that you have to now help me in fighting with sage Dadichi. And he says that, Lord Vishnu says that I cannot do this because I don't punish a Brahmin at all, and that too when he is a devotee of Lord Shiva himself. So therefore I will try my best to help you. Maybe I can try to remove or reduce the powers of sage Dadichi to some extent, but I cannot surely kill him. So you please do not ask me to do this. And at that time Lord Vishnu, it seems that he goes to Dadichi's hermitage disguised as a Brahmin. And Dadichi immediately, he recognized Lord Vishnu and he came to know about his intentions. And he says that, he tells Lord Vishnu that you need not come in disguise at all. I have understood everything. You go ahead. You have decided to help this king Kshupa. You can go ahead. But I have full faith and devotion on Lord Shiva. So whatever you want to do, you may please do that. Lord Shiva, he did not like this, Lord Vishnu, sorry, he did not like this behavior of Dadichi, because he was like being a bit arrogant also. And he said that, I know that you are a great devotee of Lord Shiva, you have conquered fear and everything, but still you must know that I am Lord Vishnu. Even though you have realized that I am Lord Vishnu, you have recognized me, you must have that respect, right? Because Lord Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, all of us are equal. But you are behaving as if you are one level high than me, so this is wrong. But Dadichi, he refuses. He says that no, I am not going to, I am a great devotee of Lord Shiva, you have come here to help Kshupa, right? So I am not going to show anything to you because I am a great devotee of Lord Shiva and I am going to stick to that. So this was like a grave insult to Lord Vishnu, and it seems that Vishnu tries to kill Dadichi with his chakra. But again, Dadichi, he remains unharmed because his bones were made of Vajrayudham, and it is said that Lord Vishnu, he tries to use all his other weapons also, but all of them failed. And finally all the devotees also, all the other deities, all the gods come to help Lord Vishnu, everything fails. And it is said that Lord Vishnu finally, Vishnu feels that I will show my divine powers, I will show my Vishwarupa to this Dadichi, sage Dadichi, and I will try to impress him. Dadichi also gave a reply back. He also showed the whole universe, and it seems that when Dadichi showed his Vishwarupa, he had Vishnu also within him. Lord Vishnu was amazed. He said that I am showing you my Vishwarupa and you are showing your Vishwarupa, in which I can see myself also in that. And it is said that Lord Brahma, he comes to that spot. He tells Vishnu that you please stop this fight now. And Kshupa, now he realizes his mistake and he says that my own Lord Vishnu also is not able to conquer this sage Dadichi, so I am going to accept defeat. And Dadichi was, but through all this, Dadichi had got very angry now, and he curses. It seems that he curses all the gods as well as Lord Vishnu that everything will be destroyed in Daksha's yajna. Daksha's yajna due to the wrath, due to the anger of Lord Shiva. That is, we know in the Sati sacrifice that happens later, we have everything that gets destroyed due to Lord Shiva's anger. So Daksha also was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. So that is the reason you see, because of this sage that Dadichi had given Daksha, in spite of being a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, he loses on everything, the sacrifice that was being done and so on. So because of this curse of Dadichi, saying that all the gods including Lord Vishnu and everything, the entire sacrifice would be destroyed of Daksha when he would do later, due to the anger of Lord Shiva. That is the Sati sacrifice that we have. So, and the place where this Dadichi's ashrama is situated, it became known as Sthaneshwara. and it is considered to be a very important place of pilgrimage. So mainly if you see the Lichi here, because this is Linga Purana, you have the stories of the Lichi and many other places that are being that are in praise of Lord Shiva, and we'll find many devotees who are trying to praise and worship Lord Shiva also. So like this place mainly is a place, I think it is located in North India somewhere, and you have the sage the Lichi's ashrama nearby. So mainly the Linga Purana talks about various devotees of Lord Shiva. Further, we have another story that comes in. Once there was a person called Shilada, Shilad. He was doing a lot of penance to please Lord Indra, and it seems that he wanted to have a son. And Indra finally appears and he says that I want a son who will be self-born and at the same time deathless. That is, I want someone deathless, so someone who is free from death, who should be self-born. That is mainly like a godlike form. And Indra said that I cannot do such things, like this is an impossible demand which cannot be fulfilled at all. Even Lord Brahma also, he has to meet his end after crores and crores of kalpas. Brahma, Indra, all these positions are also temporary, so how can I give you such a son? And Indra then tells that even Vishnu and Brahma also, they are also not self-born, Indra says, because during the Pralaya Kala again Vishnu also is being destroyed. And it is there are certain views that, now here again make a note that if you see in all the other Puranas that we have seen till now, like the Vishnu Purana, Kurma Purana, we see that Shiva and Brahma are born from Vishnu. Here Linga Purana, because it is glorifying Shiva, it says that Shiva and Brahma, Vishnu and Brahma, they are all born from Shiva. So from the left side of Shiva, Vishnu is being born, from the right side of Shiva, Brahma is being born. So therefore they are also not self-born, if you see. So therefore your demands that you have of Shilada, Indra says that it cannot be fulfilled. And it is, so from here, now Shilada, he goes away. He says that okay, I agree to you, and he goes away. So through this incident, what we get to know is that nothing apart from Lord Shiva can be self-born. So this is what they try to say, because Linga Purana mainly glorifies about Lord Shiva. And there are also a few mythological stories also that say that Lord Vishnu, he has manifested from the eyebrow of Lord Brahma. Now there can be different opinions, and it is said that at that time Lord Shiva comes to bless both Vishnu and Brahma, and after Shiva goes away, Vishnu takes the incarnation of Varaha and he brings back earth from the Netherlands wherein she had gone, and Lord Brahma then starts the process of creation. So mainly if you see, Lord Shiva only is a root cause of everything. Linga Purana tries to show this. Now further, we have a bit of description about the 4 yugas. Shilada, he says that okay, my boon, it cannot be fulfilled, you cannot bless me with a son who is free from death and all, that is fine. You just tell me about the 4 yugas now, that is Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. Indra says that Lord Brahma has created these 4 yugas, and in a cyclic order, one after the another, all these 4 yugas keep appearing. Satya Yuga, everything is very good. Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, slowly you have little signs of negativity coming in. Dwapara Yuga, you have more amount of negativity. Satya Yuga, but still goodness is still there. Kali Yuga is mainly wherein more of evil things we see, but still goodness also does exist, but ultimately it is going to lead to evil things. So the people living in Satya Yuga, they were always free from sorrow, they were very virtuous. And in the Treta Yuga, slowly desire started coming in. That's how we have people like Ravana, and people were also troubled by them. And at this time it is said that in the Treta Yuga only, for the first time it is said that Lord Brahma created the Kshatriya race. We have Rama's incarnation to free all the people from the dangers, that is mainly to kill asuras like Ravana, Kumbhakarna and so on. And also a lot of sacrifices started in the Treta Yuga. We have the Ashwamedha sacrifice, Putra Kameshti Yajna and so on. And it is said that everything was fine, Ramaraja was being established, but suddenly human behavior started changing in the Dwapara Yuga. Lot of negativity came in, people were being troubled. At that time Krishna Avatara had to take place, and at this time it is said that major Puranas were compiled. That's why we have Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. In Dwapara Yuga only we have the birth of Vyasa that takes place. All the major Puranas, they were compiled in the Dwapara Yuga. Sage Vyasa, he has categorized the 4 Vedas into their respective sections, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda, and different smritis were being written. So mainly the Vedas were categorized, the Puranas were compiled. All this mainly takes place in the Dwapara Yuga for the knowledge of people in general. And Kali Yuga slowly saw that virtues, goodness, everything slowly starts reducing. There is going to be a lot of ajnanam and false knowledge that will be spread about. So you have to be very, very careful here to get the right knowledge from the right people. And Indra then further he tells Shilada that to get through all this, only thing is you must have total devotion over the Lord. And with this, it is said that even one day, if you do a thing that you do in the Kali Yuga, but now Shilada, why he feels this after hearing all this, Shilada asks a question to Indra saying that if you say that everything is going to be bad in the Kali Yuga, then people will never wish to live right in the Kali Yuga. They'll say that I never want to live here, or why should I live in a place where there's going to be only negativity? When you're saying that everything is just negative here, no one will feel like living. So then what is good, or what can I expect to be positive? So at that time Lord Indra says that if you do even one small good thing in the Kali Yuga, you will get its fruit, you will get its result in one day. Whereas in the Treta Yuga, if you do, it will take 1 year, and in the Dwapara Yuga, if you do, it will take 1 month. In the Kali Yuga, you do one good thing, you can see the results, or the results will take place in one day only. So if you see the intensity that is there, like you chant in the Treta Yuga, people used to do sacrifices. In the Dwapara Yuga also, people used to do a lot of religious things like pujas and so on. Like we have the Govardhana Puja practice that became prevalent in Krishna's times. In the Kali Yuga, you see today none of us we do great sacrifices. Pujas also few people do. But today what the least that we can do is maybe chant the names of the Lord. That is so easy, you don't have to put in a lot of efforts. That too, you chant once, you chant thrice, twice. There is no limit at all for this, and at the same time there is no minimum maximum. You do even once, but you do it with total bhakti and devotion, the Lord accepts that, and that also is considered to be devotion, and you will be blessed for that. So it is very difficult in the Treta Yuga, Satya Yuga and Dwapara Yuga to achieve the Lord or to know the Lord. In the Kali Yuga, this is what is good for all you devotees. This is what Indra tells Shilada. So though there is goodness, you can also see evil at the same time, but in that also we must look at the good things. So here through this, again a life lesson for all of us is, even in gloomy days or in bad days also, there is always a ray of light that is there, through which we must learn to look at the good things. Further, so with this the story of the 4 yugas ends here. Now once again a story form starts in. Lord Brahma, he does severe tapasya to please Lord Shiva, and it is said that Lord Shiva here he manifests himself as Ardhanarishwara, that is with Parvati and Parvati and Lord Shiva, and it is said that the heat that was coming in, now Ardhanarishwara through this form he was very bright, a lot of tejas that was there, so a lot of heat was coming out, and it seems that the whole world was burning, including Lord Brahma. And it is said that Lord Shiva then separated the female part, that is the goddess's part from his body, and he tells her that now you start the process of creation. And it is said that both Brahma and Vishnu, as per the Linga Purana, both of them have manifested from the body of goddess Parameshwari. Lord Vishnu then divides his body into 2 parts and he starts creating the world. And once again Lord Brahma does a lot of tapasya. Lord Shiva he manifests. It seems that Lord Shiva he is born through the forehead of Lord Brahma, and that's how Lord Shiva gets one name as Neela Lohita. And Lord Neela Lohita he becomes pleased by Brahma's tapasya. So mainly through all these stories, if you see how the process of creation differs by showing Shiva as the leader here. Shiva is the main element here. Through him Vishnu is born, through him the goddess is born, and so on. So mainly the process of creation, how it started, it has changed a bit. In the Vishnu Purana, Brahma Purana, we see that Lord Brahma emerges through the navel of Lord Vishnu, and that's how the process of creation starts. So these are all different beliefs because they want to show Lord Shiva on a higher aspect. Then again what happened is that once the Shilada he tries to please Lord Indra, next he prays to Lord Shiva. And this Shilada he did, now Shilada was a normal person, a great devotee. He did a lot of penance to Lord Shiva, and for thousands of years he did. Lord Shiva appears in front of him and he says that I will bless you with a son. Now earlier you remember Shilada had asked Indra a son. he will be deathless, self-born and so on. But here Shiva says that I will bless you with a son who will become very famous for his knowledge. And but Shilada, he was like, I want a son who is going to be self-born, he will be immortal and so on. He was sticking to his demands only. So Lord Shiva says, okay, your desire will be fulfilled because you have done terrible tapasya. And Lord Brahma also had requested me to take birth now, and so I will take birth as your son, and my name will be Nandi. And it is said that in the course of time, Lord Shiva was born through this Shilada, and how he was born. He has to be self-born, so he cannot be born through a womb. So from the oblation, that is when they were doing some sacrifices, at that time this form of Shiva appears there. All the devotees, they become pleased after this form of Shiva, that is Nandi. And he had 3 eyes, 4 arms and a crown on his head. 3 eyes, 4 hands and a crown. This form of Shiva is Nandi. Next, we have some reference to the hell regions that is there. Lord Shiva is the source from where all the different worlds have originated, and mainly we know that Lord Shiva is known for destruction, that is Layaha. He is known for the process of death, mainly what happens to people when they die. And there are many worlds that are there. The nether worlds, Mahadloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, these are all heaven. Right? There are 7 heavens. And the nether worlds, hell also, they are in all 7. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Tala, Tala, and so on. These are like the 7 worlds. And it is said that Lord Muchukunda and Bali, now Bali Maharaja from the Vamana reference, he is the one who rules over this place, who lives in one of the hells, that is Mahatala. And Muchukunda we know from the Krishna Avatara stories in Srimad Bhagavatam, you get the reference that just he glances a look on the enemy of Lord Krishna, and that's how he was burnt. So this Muchukunda also, he also lives in this hell called Mahatala. Sutala is said to be yellow in color, and Vitala, this hell, now these are all different hells that are there. Now Vitala, this loka, this hell, it seems that it shines like a coral, C-O-R-A-L, coral. Atala is white color, and Tala is like an off-white color. So these are all the colors, or how we have in hell. Brahmaloka is wherein you will enjoy all the pleasures. Swarga or in Indraloka, you will feel all entertainment, that is dance, music and so on. You have the wish fulfilling tree. In Vaikuntha, you will have, everyone is like Vishnu only, so there will be pure bliss. So like this in hell also, different, all the 7 hells, they are characterized through different colors. Everything will be yellow around, everything will be white around and so on. And it is said that Rasatala is a place where Vasuki lives. Vasuki is a serpent that Lord Lord Shiva wears around his neck. And demons like Virochana and Hiranyaksha. Who is Virochana? Virochana?
Mahabali's father?
Mahabali's father, son of Prahlada, was Virochana. So Virochana, Hiranyaksha, it is said that they live in Talatala. Hell is mainly situated there. Sutala is a place where Prahlada lives. Tarka, Agni Mukha, these are all demons who live in this nether worlds, that is hell. And mainly the ruler of all these worlds is also Lord Shiva. Further, again we have the 7 islands that are mentioned, Jambudvipa and so on. Lord Shiva is said to be the ruler of all this, that is also has been mentioned. Then you have Bharatavarsha, a story of Bharatavarsha here. There was a king Agnigra. Agnigra, he was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He was a ruler of Jambudvipa, where our land Bharata is located. He had about 9 sons, and each of them, he allotted them equal parts of Jambudvipa of this island, and he renounced everything. He went to take up sannyasa ashrama, he went to do some penance. And Meru Devi was Nabhi's wife. Nabhi was one of the son of Agnigra. His wife was Meru Devi, and they had a son Rishabha. Rishabha, he got married, he became the father of many sons. Among them Bharata was the eldest, and it is said that Bharata was given the rights of Jambudvipa. He became a very great king, and he ruled the southwards region of Himalaya. That is nothing but the Bharatavarsha. Now you know the geography of our country. Yavat Bharatavarsam Syat, Yavat Hindi. Do you know that Subhashitam? Starting from the Himalayas till the Indian Ocean. Tam Deva Nirmitam Desham Hindustanam Prachakshate. यावत् हिमालयं तावत् यावत् इन्दुसरोवरं तं देवनिर्मितं देशं हिन्दुस्तानं प्रचक्षते. You have this verse, you have the Subhashita. That is starting from the Himalayas till the southern tip of the Indian Ocean. You have the place that is there, you have the country or the landmass that is there, that is called as Bharata. So in the Linga Purana, you have this reference that Bharata, this king, he ruled on the territory which was southwards of the Himalayas. That is today also we see, that is India, and our country, it gets its name from him, Bharata. He had a son Sumati who further ruled India after Bharata. Now when we say India, it is not today's geographical India. We had many more lands under our control, not today's partitioned India. Then we have some reference about Meru mountain that is there. It is said that it is situated in the middle of Jambu Dvipa and it is the tallest mountain. And some people say that it can be a bit fictional, but people say that Meru mountain is still there in the midst, or you can say in the central part of this Jambu Dvipa. Jambu Dvipa, people, it seems that there are a lot of jambu, that is jamun trees that are there. That's how this island came to be known as Jambu Dvipa. Then a lot of mountains have been told. In India, we have main mountains like Vidarbha, Himalayas, the Sahyadri, Satpuras, and so on. Nilgiri towards the south. Like this reference to many mountains, geography has also been given. The ruler of all this is Lord Shiva only. The main ruler of the entire universe is Lord Shiva. Further, the sun, it seems that now little reference to sun also is given. Sun god is given in the Linga Purana. It is said that in the Dakshinayana and Uttarayana, these two are the concepts that take place. Uttarayana, slowly when the sun starts proceeding northwards. Now in the month of June, that is from January till June, we have the equinox, right, that comes in, wherein from June onwards till December, you see sun starts moving southwards. So wherein nights become longer and the sun days are shorter. So this phenomena is indicated in the Linga Purana. That this shows that whatever we study in geography, you can see it in our own Puranas also. Then based on this, the time is indicated. That's how we have days are longer, nights are shorter, nights are longer, days are shorter. So time is indicated. And then we also have concepts of morning, afternoon, noon, and so on. And that's the reason you see that in the morning when the sun rises, it is in the east. When it goes a bit in the southeast or so, that is little high it goes, it is mainly morning. Afternoon time, it is at the top, exact top, you have the sun. Then slowly it goes little low, it is afternoon, maybe around 3 or 4, and then evening time it is in the west direction. So if you see slowly to southeast, northeast, southwest, northwest, and finally west it goes. So all these motions that are there of the sun, it all indicates the time. Now why this has been given is, in those times we didn't have a clock. You cannot say 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock is afternoon, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock is noon, 3 o'clock is afternoon, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning is Brahma Muhurta, 6 o'clock is evening, dawn, dusk. All these concepts are not there. So just by looking at the positions of the moon, people used to declare the time. Oh, sun is at the top, so it is noon time now, 12 o'clock. Sun is just rising, so it will be east. Sun is going to set, it has become reddish orange color. You can see about dark clouds coming in, so the day is about to end. So people used to look this way, they used to determine time. This has been mentioned in the Linga Purana. Now further, it is said that once the process of creation starts, Lord Brahma, he assigns different lords their duties. So what were their duties? Which duty has to be given to whom? So it is said that, so Lord, now for all the different, now creation has started. Animals have been created, trees, women, men, Gandharvas, oceans, all this is done. But now there should be a leader, right, to rule over all this. Now all of us also, for whatever we do, we need a leader, or we need someone who's going to guide us. So now Brahma, he starts this process. He said that the sun was made the lord of all the planets. Sun is the center of the solar system, we say, right? So sun is the main lord of all planets. Soma, moon god, was the lord of all constellations that we have. And the medicinal herbs, Ayurveda Shastram, the lord of that is Soma, moon god. Varuna, lord of water. Kubera, lord of wealth. Lord Vishnu, lord of Adityas. Aditya Anamaham Vishnu. Pavaka, of Vasus. We have the Ashtavasus. Pavaka was their head. Pavaka. Then Prajapatis is Daksha. Indra was a god of deities. Pavaka, another name is Agni, Agni Bhagwan or Vasus. The leader is Agni or Pavaka. Prahlada was Lord of Demons. All this you get reference in the 10th chapter of Gita. Same is told here also. Then for animals, it seems that it was Rudra. Woman, it was Uma. For all the 11 Rudras, it was Neela Lohita. Different obstacles, Gajanana, Lord Ganesha. Vigneshwara, why do we call Vigneshwara? Lord Ganesha, and then another name is Vigneshwara. All the Vignas or the troubles that are removed by Vigneshwara. So therefore, Gajanana is said to be the Lord of Obstacles. Speech, Goddess Saraswati. Mountains, Himalaya. Rivers, Ganga. Oceans was Kshira Sagara, that is the Setu Bandhanam that we have, Rama crossing over the ocean, so that Kshira Sagara. That from that is where, or that incident when Rama builds a bridge and goes to Lanka, that's where we start gaining the importance of the sea god, sea, or you can say the ocean. So that is not the only story, but Ramayana is the main story wherein we get some reference to the ocean. Kshira Sagara is a milky ocean, and the Milky Ocean is said to be the lord of all the all the oceans. People tree, we worship the people tree till date, the Vatavriksham, that is of trees, the leaders. For Gandharvas, we have Chitrarataha, serpents is Takshaka, birds is Garuda. Prithvi was the lord of the earth, and Lord Shiva is the lord of the entire universe, it is said. Further, it is said that now mainly Linga Purana also talks a bit about the sun god mainly, and it is said that the chariot of Surya, it was made by Lord Brahma, it is made up of gold, it seems, and the chariot is very huge, and it is pulled by 7 horses, and depending on the moments of the sun we can say whether it is day, night, and so on. And the sun is said to be the source of all living beings. Without the sun, the world cannot exist at all. And all the deities, human beings, creation, living creatures, everything, they all get their energy from the sun god only. And the sun god, it seems that it gets its radiance and everything from Lord Shiva. Time also can be known through the sun's movement, and one cannot even imagine the time at all without the sun. Without daytime, nighttime, world cannot exist at all. Further, we have some so with this one part of the Linga Purana ends. Further, we have the story of Dhruva that is mentioned. I am not going too much in detail because we have already seen the story of Lord of Dhruva, his tapasya and so on. So I am not going too much into that. We have the story of Dhruva that comes in. Then it is said that then you have the origin of deities, that is Daksha Prajapati, Daksha's sacrifice is again described here. You have Sati sacrifice that is done, and Kashyapa's wives Aditi. Now all this we have seen in the previous Puranas. It is the same thing, so we are not going too much in detail. Aditi. From Diti you have the Danavas who are born, Aditi you have the gods who are born, and like this the process of creation mainly starts upon. Then we have the next story that comes in. That is the story of Vasishta and Vishwamitra, the rivalry between them. Let's look at that. This also we have seen in a previous Purana, but still to some extent we will look at this. Once it so happened that Vishwamitra, he had told demon Rudira to kill Vasishta's sons, and Vasishta was very sad after learning about the death of his sons, and it is said that he wanted to give up his life, but he was stopped by his daughter-in-law, and said that very soon a son is going to be born to me, a grandson will be born to you, so therefore now you don't give up your life at all. And it is said that Vasishta, he was still very sad listening to the news of his son's death, but still he said that okay, I'll wait for some time because now a grandson is going to be born to me. And one day he was just thinking about his sons, and at that time he heard some Vedic mantras being chanted from somewhere. He looked all around but he could not see anyone, and at that time a heavenly voice revealed that he was listening to some heavenly voice and it was telling him something. He was trying to find the source from where the sound was coming, and he heard that the sound was coming from the child who was there in his daughter-in-law's womb. So the child was not yet born, but still the voice was coming from inside the womb. And it is said that this was the voice of Parashara. Parashara. And Parashara, anyone knows who's Parashara?
In Bhagavad Gita, Vyasa Yogam, you say,
But who's Parashara? Vyasa.
yeah.
No one? Who is sage Parashara? No one knows?
Vyasa son.
Vyasa's son is Parashara.
Father of them.
Father.
Father of Vyasa. Correct. Father of Vyasa is Parashara. And he was the main. Now, Parashara we have already seen in one reference of the Puranas, Vishnu Purana. Vishnu Purana was told by Parashara. So, this was Parashara. The child who was there inside the womb was Parashara. And it is said that this noise was being heard by, so through this what sage Vasishta got to know that the grandson that is going to be born to me, he is also going to be a great sage, because right from inside the womb, just like we see in Prahlada, when Kayatu, Prahlada's mother, Hiranyakashipu's wife Kayatu, even though she used to sleep, but when Narada used to tell her some important aspects with regards to bhakti about Lord Vishnu's stories, the child inside the womb used to listen carefully. So Vasishta also thought, so similarly here also Vasishta also, he felt very amazed that the grandson that was being born inside, who was inside the mother's womb, from him also some voice is coming. So this person also is going to be a great man only. And he was a sage which ultimately was born. And further it is, so this was the story that is there, wherein Vasishta also, though he had a rivalry with Vishwamitra, he had lost many sons, he was blessed with a grandson. And from here Parashara, he became famous, and the greatest contribution of Parashara is the contribution of Vishnu Purana. So through this story what we see is that this Parashara was a great devotee of Lord Shiva also. That is the reason this incident has been mentioned in the Linga Purana, but mainly Parashara is known for propagating, or mainly to tell for the spread of Vishnu Purana. Further, we have the Soma race, Soma Vamsha and Surya Vamsha, that has been described here. That is the Rama, the lineage of the Pandavas, and also the lineage of Rama, Surya Vamsha. Then we also have the Yadu dynasty, that has been, yes.
Who is Parashara's father, ma'am?
Parashara's father was an
I
unborn.
thought he's a son. I understand now he's a grandson of
Yes.
Vasishta.
Now,
So-
basically, it was actually the grandson, because all the sons of Vasishta were killed. So
Correct.
therefore, his father mainly was not known at all. That is what is said. But then some references say that Parashara was a son of Vasishta, because Vasishta had lost all his sons. He started regarding his grandson Parashara as his own son. So that is the reason it is said so.
Right,
This
right.
reference you have a little bit in the Vishnu Sahasranama also. Okay, now Yadu dynasty we see, Yadukula, about Krishna also we get little reference in the Linga Purana. So through this reference what we say is that again there is no difference between Shaivism and Vaishnavism. Linga Purana equally talks about Yadu dynasty, about Krishna's dynasty and so on, and obviously in Vishnu Purana also we get some reference to Rudra, Shiva and so on. So there is equality everywhere. Yadu dynasty, Yadu had 5 sons and Sahasrajit was the eldest, and through his race you have many sons that were born, sons and sons. That means their generation kept on flourishing. And finally Ahuka, there was a king Ahuka who was born in this Yadu dynasty. He had 2 sons, Devaka, Ugrasena. Eldest son Devaka had 11 children, 4 sons and 7 daughters. One of them was Devaki, who was married to Vasudeva. And Ugrasena, so basically if you see Devaki and Kamsa, they are cousins. Ugrasena had 9 sons, Kansa was the eldest. Vasudeva had a son Balarama from Rohini, and Devaki, she gave birth to Lord Krishna. Vasudeva, we know he had exchanged Lord Krishna, they were living with Nandagopa, Yashoda. And it is from here we also have the story of Yogamaya that is given here. So mainly little in the Linga Purana, it doesn't go much in detail, it just touches upon the story of Sri Krishna. And Lord Krishna, he has also done a lot of severe penance to please Lord Shiva, and he was blessed with many sons like Sucharu, Pradyumna, Charudeshna and so on. So basically here to show the devotion of Lord Krishna to towards Lord Shiva. This reference of Lord Krishna's story has been mentioned in the Linga Purana. He also had a son called Samba. It was actually Shambha, as we call another name for Lord Shiva. From that, Samba was born through Jambavati. Lord Krishna, he lived for about 120 years, they say, and hunter named Jara, he took his life, and that's how Lord Krishna Avatara ends here. But Krishna had done a lot of penance, and that's how many sons were born to him, like Charudeshna, Pradyumna, and so on. So mainly the story stresses upon the importance of, or it shows the devotion that even Lord Krishna had shown towards Shiva. Further, we have the story of Andhaka. Now, who was Andhaka? Andhaka was Hiranyaksha's son, and he had done a lot of penance, and nobody could kill this Andhaka at all. So once it so happened that all the gods now they started running here and there. They went to Lord Shiva, and they tell Lord Shiva that this is how it's happening, and you have to kill Andhaka so that the entire world can live in peace. Lord Shiva goes to the place, and when Andhaka sees them coming, Andhaka attacks Lord Shiva and all the Bhutaganas with his different weapons. All the gods had also accompanied. They were afraid. Looking at this Andhaka, they started running here and there. They were very scared, and Lord Shiva, he finally killed Andhaka with his Trishula, and it is said that he lifted that corpse, the dead body of Andhaka, with his Trishula, and he stayed in that position for a very long time. And it is said that, so through this, what happened is that all the sins, though Andhaka had died, all his sins had gone away, and he was liberated. And finally he regained life, he was reborn, and he asked for forgiveness. And Lord Shiva became very pleased and brought Andhaka down. So little though the corpse, the evil Andhaka had gone away, a rebirth had taken place. Andhaka was born in a good form, or you can say a good character, a virtuous character was born. And it is said that this Andhaka was given the designation of a Ganapati. We had seen this in the previous Purana also, of a Ganapati. And Ganapati, the different Ganas, Bhuta Ganas that are there, he was made the leader of one Gana, was this Andhaka. Further, we have the story of Varahavatara that has also been mentioned here. And next, we have the killing of Jalandhara. There was again another demon called Jalandhara, like Andhaka, and he had born from the ocean. That's how the name has come, Jalandhara, Jala. And he had also done severe tapasya. He had defeated the gods and so on, and he had even defeated Lord Vishnu, it seems. Now only Shiva was left to be conquered by him. Jalandhara, he went to a battle with Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was aware of the boon that he had, that nobody could kill him, and it is said that Jalandhar had got a lot of power from his wife Vrinda. It seems because she was a very good lady, and she was lot of devotees, lot of gods had blessed her. So lot of powers he had also got from his wife Vrinda. And Lord Vishnu, it seems, he disguised as Jalandhar, and he went to meet his wife Vrinda. Vrinda could not recognize Lord Vishnu, and she thought that this is my husband Jalandhara only. And Lord Vishnu finally, like how we have the story of sage Gautama, right? Indra comes in the form of Gautama from the Ramayana reference. Ahalya thinks that he is Gautama only. Same thing happens here. And why this had happened, it seems, because Jalandhara, he used to be very because his wife was a very chaste woman and so on, very pure wife. That's why he could not be attacked easily. So to make things easy for Shiva and to ensure that Shiva can easily kill Jalandhara, Vishnu had to do this trick that is there. And while Vishnu had gone to meet Vrinda, Jalandhar, the original Jalandhar, was away from her, and that's when Lord Shiva, he fought with Jalandhara and he destroyed the entire army. Jalandhara became very furious, and he tried to kill Shiva with the Sudarshana Chakra. He had a Sudarshana Chakra which he had snatched from Vishnu. But it is said that as soon as he lifted the Sudarshana Chakra, his body got cut into two pieces, and the death of Jalandhara, all the gods and everyone was very happy. Now here a question will arise that why did Lord Vishnu have to do this, right? In a normal way, he could have, like Lord Shiva wants to fight with Jalandhara, he could have done that directly, right? Why did Vishnu had to go and deviate mainly the focus of Jalandhara? He had to go and meet his wife Vrinda and so on. What is the purpose for this is, sometimes when things don't happen in the right way, we have to find out different ways to get things happen. So here, that too, to save the world. Like we have Krishna telling Arjuna also, to save the world or for the betterment of the world in general, sometimes not all things will seem to be very good, or we cannot be always very straightforward. We have to find out a bit, we have to find out other ways to get things to be successful, or to get things under our control. Just as now today also, if you see, when things don't happen in a straightforward way, we have to, maybe we do different things. It might not seem to be very correct, but then we have to do that. When we don't have an option, we have to end up doing that. So the same thing, even Shiva also, with the help of Lord Vishnu, he tries to kill Jalandhara here. Then you also have a bit of Ganesha, the story of Ganesha that is mentioned in the Shiva, in the Linga Purana. Once all the gods, they go and pray to Lord Shiva, say that you tell us some way so that we can always be free from the attack of demons. And it is said that Lord Shiva, he took an incarnation as Ganeshwara. That is, he took an incarnation as Lord Ganesha. He had his head, he had a human body, but his head was of an elephant with a trishula in his hand. And all the deities, they prayed to Lord Ganesha in this form, who is the Lord of wisdom and also the remover of all obstacles, Vinayaka. And Lord Ganesha is the first deity who has to be worshipped in all rituals, as he is to believe. Vignanayaka, Vigneshwara, as we say, Vinayaka. So, one who removes all the obstacles. It is said that a devotee of Lord Ganesha, will be free from the fear of failures and will always achieve success in whatever he starts in. So this is another story wherein the Linga Purana does not mention Lord Ganesha as the son of Shiva, but Lord Ganesha here, as per the Linga Purana, is said to be a form of Lord Shiva only. Lord Shiva only has incarnated as Ganeshwara. So these are all different references that are being told. Next, you have the story of the Shiva Tandava, the purpose of Shiva Tandava. So all the gods were there. Now if you see, originally the Linga Purana is a conversation between Suta and the gods. So once all the gods, they ask Suta that why, like how it started, how is this concept of Shiva Tandava coming. So once there was a demon called Daruka, he had acquired divine powers and he started troubling the deities, sages, all the good people. All the devotees, they went to Lord Shiva and they requested Lord Shiva that you protect us. And Lord Shiva then, he requested Parvati that you go and help the deities. And it is said that one part of Parvati's great tapasya, it is said that has entered, that is a form of Ardhanarishwara, it entered the body of Lord Shiva. And goddess Parvati, she got her form through the poison that was there from the throat of Lord Shiva. That is the Neelakantha that we have, the Hala poison that Shiva had consumed. From that poison, it is said that she had given her powers to Lord Shiva, it seems. Now Lord Shiva had asked for the help of Parvati to fight the demons in Daruka. So in that time, what happened is that because she had given her consciousness and all her divine powers and everything, she had lost her charm now. And to regain her physical form, Lord Parvati took some poison in her, and with the help of the poison, she wanted to make a form for herself like before. And it is said that because she consumed that poison, and with the help of that poison, the Hala poison, it had made her complexion very, very dark. And Lord Shiva then, so you can say very dark complexion Parvati. Now all these are all Shiva stories. Now all these stories of Shiva, we are not very much aware. In the case of Vishnu and so on, if you see, we have with regards to Vishnu, we have many avatara stories are quite famous. But with regards to Shiva, there are many stories which we don't know. There is one incident wherein Lord Parvati, she becomes very, very dark complexion. She loses all her powers. That is because she had given all her powers to Lord Shiva. That is the reason. And Lord Parvati, she comes in this form wherein she has become very dark complexioned, almost black because of the consumption of poison. All the deities, they become very frightened of her, and she was none other than goddess Kali. So Kali Avatara, that is there, this is how the goddess incarnates herself as Kali. Goddess Kali, then she kills Daruka with the permission of Parvati. So Kali is a form of Parvati, and it is said that even after Daruka was killed, still his negative powers and his anger was still very much pleasant, it seems, and the whole world was facing he was so powerful that even after his death also the whole world had to suffer. And Lord Shiva then, it seems that he incarnated as a small child and he started crying as if he was hungry. And goddess Kali, she was very much present there, and it's in that Daruka forest, and she saw this child crying. Maybe it was hungry. She started feeding the child her milk, and in the process of sucking milk, it is said that he sucked out the anger also of the goddess Parvati, or goddess Kali. Lord Shiva sucked out the anger, just as Krishna, when he was sucking the milk of Putana, he sucks out her life also. Similarly, here also Shiva sucks out the anger of Goddess Parvati, and it is said that this extreme anger had resulted the Kali, when Lord Shiva sucks the anger of Kali, it seems that 8 divine uh, lords were born. They were the Kshetrapalas, and Kshetrapalas, that is the doorkeepers mainly, who are responsible for protecting the outskirts of a place. And it is said that after all the anger and everything was sucked out, goddess Kali becomes unconscious. Lord Shiva then performs, the first time he performs the Shiva Tandava to help Kali regain back her consciousness. And it is said that in this terrific dance, the Shiva Tandava, he had all the ghosts and all the spirits who were there present there. And it is said that when Kali, she regained her consciousness, she found Shiva dancing, and she too started dancing, and this is the reason why goddess Kali is called as Yogini. So like this, there are different stories wherein how the concept of Shiva Tandava comes in. And we also have the Shiva Tandava that Shiva does in the story of Sati. When we have the Sati sacrifice, there also Shiva does Shiva Tandava. Next we have the story of Upamanyu. Now this Upamanyu was also a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He was a very brilliant child. And how he became a supreme devotee of Lord Shiva, that is mentioned here. It is said that once this child, when he was small, once he had gone to his uncle's place, that is his mother's brother's place, and while he was hungry one day, he tried to drink some milk. But his cousin who was there, it seems that he did not allow this child Upamanyu to drink milk. He snatched the bowl of milk, and that cousin of Upamanyu, he drank all the milk. This Upamanyu, this boy, he started crying. He went to his mother and he told that this cousin of mine, he has drunk all the milk. Now there was no other milk left, so the mother, she gave him all other things. I'll give you this, I'll give you that. But Upamanyu said, I don't want anything, I want only milk. And at that time the mother, she said that you should be satisfied with whatever you have. Because in life also, it's not that every time I need something, you are going to get that easily. Whatever you have, you must be satisfied with that. And why today you are crying is because maybe in our previous births, we have not worshipped Lord Shiva properly. We have not worshipped him. That is the reason we are finding a lot of hardships we are facing now. That is the reason when the milk is being snatched from your hands and so on. So now only a devotee of Lord Shiva, he will only be blessed with all kinds of comforts, pleasures and so on. That is the reason it is said that whenever we have, there are some, you can say like, we find something less in life, or when things are not being the way we want, or our desires are not being fulfilled, people say that you must worship Lord Shiva, because he is the one who blesses us with all kinds of comforts and pleasures of life. And then Upamanyu decides that now I am going to start praying to Lord Shiva, and when Lord Shiva comes in front of me, not one bowl, but I am going to ask an entire ocean of milk for me. He was a child, so for him at that time his main objective was to get milk. And he went to Himalayas, he started doing penance, and at that time Lord Shiva, he did not come very easily in front of him. He tries to test the devotion of Upamanyu. He disguised himself as Indra, and it is said that in the form of Indra, in front of Upamanyu, Shiva, he disguises himself as Indra and he starts abusing Shiva. So Shiva himself in the form of Indra starts abusing Shiva. Upamanyu is very disturbed, he gets very angry that he tries to kill this Shiva in the form of Indra. And Upamanyu failed in his attempt and he started chanting different mantras. And Lord Shiva was very much pleased, saying that he is such a true devotee of mine that when someone talks against me, I myself also in some other form, when I talk evil about myself, that is about Lord Shiva, this person, this devotee is there. He, to the extent that he was even ready to kill the person, he blesses Upamanyu and he accepts him as his son, and he gives him a designation of again a Ganapati, and he provides oceans of milk to Upamanyu just as Upamanyu had desired. Next we have the story of the Dwadashakshara mantra, the greatness. What is the Dwadashakshara mantra? Dwadashakshara mantra. Nobody knows what is the Dwadashakshara? You will be chanting it every day, right?
Is it Hare Rama
That is Mahamantram.
Mahama?
Dvadashakshara mantram.
Om Namo Vasudevaya.
Correct. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dvadashakshara mantram. Well, this from where the Dvadashakshara mantram has come, its origin is in the Linga Purana. Once it is said that sages, they ask Suta that you tell a mantra through which man can attain salvation, moksha, liberation. Lord Vishnu, it seems that so Suta tells that Lord Vishnu is the one who gives salvation and moksha. So one who thinks about Lord Shiva only, Lord Vishnu only with full devotion, such a person will be blessed not only by Lord Vishnu but also by the goddess Mahalakshmi herself. And Suta at that time he talks about the greatness of the Dvadashakshara mantra, that is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And once it is said that there was a Brahmin, so this Suta tells and the conversation ends there. The next part is, once there is a Brahmin, while talking, he had this problem of stammering. You see, some people, they cannot talk, they cannot speak clearly. They have to stop in middle. They have this stammering problem, right? So, once it is said that different efforts were put in, but still the child could not speak clearly at all. And it is said that this child, he grew up, this Brahmin, he was a Brahmin. Ultimately, right from childhood, he had this problem. And many people, they tried different remedies, nothing could be done. And he had learned this Dvadashakshara mantra. And this Brahmin, he wanted to teach this same Dvadashakshara mantra to his son also. But because he had this stammering problem, his speech was not clear. And he pronounced Vasudeva, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Incorrectly he pronounced Vasudeva as Etareya. So the child was given the name of Etareya. And it is said that the child, he became very disgusted. He said, no, I've taught my first son a very wrong mantra. It is actually Vasudevaya. I've taught him as Etareya. It is because of the slip of tongue it has happened. And the child also, because he was taught this Dvadashakshara mantra, the child was also named as Etareya. Brahmin, he said that this son is of no use, I'll marry for the second time. And he had many sons from his second wife. And Etareya's mother, she used to feel very bad that now this Brahmin, because of his problem of stammering, it seems that he had let go on his own son Etareya, and was something I chanted, and my child also is named as Etareya, it's of no use, and that's the reason he married his second wife. So therefore the first wife, that is Etareya's mother, she was like frustrated. She said that my son has got nothing to do, and I am also not at fault because my son is stammering. I am also not at fault. But she keeps on cursing, and her faith, saying that I have been married to a person who has this habit of stammering and so on. And further she says that I am not going to tolerate this any further. And she tells Etareya, her son, that I am very much frustrated. And it is said that this Etareya, he had been taught by his father Om Namo Bhagavate Etareyaya instead of Vasudevaya, but still he continuously, he did not even know that the word was actually Vasudevaya. He keeps on chanting this Dvadashakshara mantra regularly as it was taught by his father, and one fine day he could pronounce it correctly. And once it's so said, and one fine day he could pronounce the mantra correctly without stammering at all. And one fine day he went to a place where a yajna was being performed, and it is said that all the priests who were doing the yajna, suddenly they lost their speech, that is, they all became dumb. And this person, this Etareya, he goes to this place and he chants this Dvadashakshara mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and all the mantras flawless. That is, his speech was very clear, stammering had gone away. And all the priests also who had lost their power of speech, they became dumb. They also started chanting, the pronunciation became very, very clear. So this is a power on the Dvadashakshara mantra, and one who chants this mantra regularly, all his sins will be destroyed and he attains Vishnu Loka. This Etareya also became to be a great scholar. So mainly people who face this stammering problems, speech issues, if we continuously keep chanting the Dvadashakshara mantra, it is very good. And overall, to be free from all sins and for overall goodness, the Dvadashakshara mantra is chanted. So this reference is also told in the Linga Purana. Okay, so today time is up. We will stop here. We will continue next week.